Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, it's been a while. Hope you're all doing well. Hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving, you had a good Thanksgiving. Hi, hello.
Hi, everyone.
It has been a while. We are back from the dead, ready for another podcast. We
Well,
have things to talk about.
as you can see, we're no longer on out in space. We are on the set of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, we took a break from traveling through space to join a dance show and try and win. And we have some juicy details to talk about regarding Dancing with the Stars.
Yes. Um, should I begin?
Go ahead.
Well, I never watched Dancing with the Stars, but as we know on a former broadcast, we did a podcast on Joey Graziadei,
Yes.
and he was on Dancing with the Stars as one of the contestants. So I
Hmm.
watched him this is season 33, and I watched him from week one in September when they closed out in November. Uh, and I was enamored by the fact that not only he, but so many of the stars that participated who weren't dancers got better week after week. Um, Joey Graziadei was paired with professional dancer Jenna Johnson, and her husband had won the Mirabal Trophy the season before, and she wanted to win so badly, and she choreographed everything for Joey. And he, at the end of the season, said that he lost a lot of weight because he was doing a lot of lifts and jive and samba dancing, and a lot of things that were causing him not just to build up his upper body strength like with the lifts, but before he knew it, his pants didn't fit, his his body had changed. He
Hmm.
said that it was. He says he gave it his best, and and he was the eventual winner with Jenna Johnson. And the other the other final contestants were Alona Mayer. Can you hear me very well?
Yeah, you're good. You're
Yeah, because
perfectly
there's
clear.
okay, because there's
Yeah, no,
Dave.
yeah. So for those who are listening, he has people working outside of his house and they're noisy. Your phone has very good cancellation. I don't hear a thing,
Oh,
nothing.
good.
So
Okay.
it's silent outside of you talking. Like there's no background noise whatsoever. So you're good.
Oh, good. So Joey Graziadei was the winner of The Bachelor. He wasn't the winner of The Bachelor, but he had selected Kelsey Anderson as his final contestant, and they're together and they're going to get married. And he's a very nice guy. He's a low grade tennis player, so he's an instructor and not a dancer. By the end of the season, doing all these dancers, he was dancing like a semi pro,
Yeah.
and he won. Other the final five contestants, which people would know, was Ilona Mayer, who danced with Alan Burstein. She was on the U.S. Rugby team in the Olympics. She was a
Hmm.
big girl, really big girl,
Yeah, I remember you
and
showed me. You showed me. She was like tall and like built.
yeah, and she was able to pick him up a
Hmm.
prof- with the lifts rather than Alan Burstyn, her partner, picking her up. And then there was Chandler Kinney and Brandon Armstrong. I thought, as I had mentioned to you in the past, she was a gorgeous 24-year-old former child black actress
Hmm.
who had dance training. And when she danced with Brandon Armstrong, although her scores were probably better than Joey Graziadei in the long run, she came in third. And a reason why I think that happened was the audience gratified him with the fact that he was better known for being the bachelor
Mm,
because you mix the judges' scores with the audience scores.
right.
And although their scores were very close, I think that's what caused him to win.
His guest starness is tipped him over the edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was Stephen Nedorosik, who was an Olympic gymnast.
Oh
He,
my God, yeah, him. I forgot about him. I forgot he was in that season too.
yeah, he had no dance training, and he really did great.
Well, because
Real,
he arguably he has some dance training to a degree because he's a gymnast, right? His body is already aggressively like set up and toned for that style of exercise, shall we call it? Like he does what I don't know what it's called, where you balance on that wide, um, whatever the hell it's called. Like you put your arms down and you sort of swing your lower body around it. Um,
balance beam.
No, no, it's like a balance beam. It's got two handlebars. It looks like a giant Twinkie, like a brown Twinkie, and the two handlebars, and you swing your lower half around it.
Mhm.
He, that's what he does. That's his whatever, like his specialty or whatever the hell it is. Um,
Yeah, so
so yeah.
he was dancing with Riley Arnold, and they came in fourth. And the fifth place dancer was Danny Amendola, who danced with Whitney Carson, and Danny Amendola was a former football player and Super Bowl champion. So the only one I think that had professional dance training as a youth was Chandler Kinney, the young Afro American girl. And I thought she was superb. I thought Joey was superb, but I really, not not being biased, thought that she looked like a professional. He looked like a good semi-pro. Now the voting came in, and like I said, Joey won. And to the chagrin of the audience, they were very happy. Uh, but what got me about the show was they had old timers on the show that were lucky to walk, Peter.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, uh, if they had to do a turn, you'd figure they'd fall down. And
Look, Dick Van Dyke has got moves. He's 98 and he's moving like he's in his 60s.
yeah, you're right. And they also went down to the final voting to select the winner. And I think that it was so close that the reason why Joey Graziadei won was uh, Chandler Kinney made a remark, and it might not mean anything, but she said, "We are so glad that we're the only black couple to ever make the finals in Dancing with the Stars."
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it would be great if we were the only black couple to win Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
So I took that as something positive,
Yeah.
but some people may not, you know.
Well, no, I think it's them hoping to be the first of their people to do that. The first of
Yeah,
their like that's an achievement. You know what I mean? It's that's like yeah, I'm not going to elaborate on that, but yeah, it's just someone being wanting to be the first, you know?
yeah, yeah. So I think I know for the goodness of the program, they try to get good-looking people or famous people to dance,
Yeah.
and hope that they're not eliminated quickly from the beginning to the end.
Hmm.
But uh, I also think that they should vet and they shouldn't have people who've had professional dance training competing against people who've never had dance training because they have a big edge. And
Yeah,
maybe
they
that's
do, and it also can sway the judges because they're they may judge harsher, and that may be considered unfair because if you're judging on a relative scale because this one's a dancer, this one's not a dancer, it could be a problem. Or maybe what you do is solidify people into groups, right? Like if you're gonna have some people who have a history of dancing, maybe have like I don't know. I don't watch the show, so I don't know how fully it would work, but maybe you could do like half the dancers be professional dancers and the other half not, and then those half get judged between each other and they go against each other while the non-dancers go against each other, and then it comes to the final two or something like that. Might be an idea.
yeah, it could be,
But
but
yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah, and there's a lot of people I can see on there whose agent must have said you got to get some exposure
Yeah.
and put them on the show as the last resort for exposure. Now, from this being the top five people, I think they're going on tour. The professional dancers are going on tour, and along with them, I believe all five placement dan- dancers here, from Joey down to Danny Amendola, are going on tour all around the country. And I think Stephen Nedorosik is going to be one of the hosts of the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And what I really, really liked was the fact a lot of them, had friends and family, and you'd watch their girlfriends react.
Yeah.
Like I watched Kelsey Anderson, who was just a dream watch as you saw her future husband dance. I remember uh, when they were interviewed on one of the Bachelor podcasts, they asked her if she can dance, and she says, "No, not really well, but he has good rhythm." So when I saw him on the Dancing with the Stars, damn, he really picked up stuff. So if anybody um, wants to enjoy it, they should watch uh, parts of the season 33, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will enjoy it. And that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah, so short little email, short little podcast on that. Um, again, they didn't dance one dance. They must have danced about 10 different dances.
Right,
And then,
because that's how like they do one dance, everyone gets graded, someone gets kicked out. Do another dance, everyone gets graded, someone gets kicked out, and then keep going, keep going, keep going, and they got to fight their way to the top.
yeah, what stress and physical abuse one has to take to do these dances. I can see uh, where he lost a lot of weight, Joey. And
And also given that it's a show like this, they probably because it's been going on for so long, they have it like clockwork. So they know how much time to give the dancers to prep, and if like and they got to get it down. You know what I mean? So he's probably finishing a dance, getting like a 3 day break, maybe a 2 day break, and then starting the next one and just ripping into it. So it's they're probably moving pretty fast.
yeah, so they get the Len Goodman Mirrorball Trophy. He used to be a judge who passed away. I try to find out what is the prize money, and it says no prize money. But I know that I once read that every contestant is paid for taking part, and as they advance to different levels, they get more money.
Correct.
I could not find out what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Joey now is continuing being a social icon.
Well, yeah, because he went from The Bachelor to Dancing with the Stars. He's trying to make his climb, you know. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
But
I could see him going further than that. Now on tour, and I could see him. maybe getting his own show or something. His own,
Yeah, I
yeah,
could see him getting a reality show.
yeah,
That's you tend to see that when reality stars will um sort of hop from show to show in terms of reality. It's when you get into that niche of reality, it's like being into the niche of like soap opera or being in the niche of like a voice actor. You
yeah,
you work more in there. You don't necessarily try and break into film or TV. Like they might, but they usually find more success in where they were at, which is reality.
yeah. So I'm done. You have anything to say on this?
No, I think it's great. I see you tell me about it a lot, so I know you're excited to talk about it. Um, I know Catherine really likes them. She likes to pay attention to them occasionally. Like she liked that Bachelor season as well. I think her and her mom may have watched some of Dancing with the Stars for this season because of him as well. Um, I I knew of the Olympian who was in here as well because he there were jokes about him because he during the Olympics was asleep. He was just like taking a nap or whatever. And then it was his turn and he just woke up, walked over to his thing and got like a perfect 10 out of 10 and then went back to sleep. And people were making jokes that he was like the Terminator because he was just completely like every all the other Olympians are nervous. They're trying to like psych themselves up to get ready. He's napping on the side of the wall. It's his turn. He gets called. He just opens his eyes, gets up, calm and collected, goes over, does his shtick, walks away, goes back to sleep. Perfect 10. It was
That's
so funny.
that's
So
wonderful.
it was funny that he ended up on this show and apparently he had like good chemistry and he did well with whoever his dancer was.
Yeah, the only thing that bothered me before we go on to your topic is that the judges they give their scores, and over time these scores indicate who are the best dancers, and then the audience votes, and it becomes a popularity contest. So
Yes.
that bothers me in this, The Voice, and other type of specialty reality shows.
Well, we also don't know the back end of it. Like we don't they don't fully they're not fully showing you everything on how they calculate it. So there's a possibility that like the judges may say, no, this is very clearly this person is the winner. And if the votes are close enough for the popularity, they may swing it one way or the other. We don't fully know how much impact the audience really has. Um, or vice versa, the audience may have full impact. It could be the other way around. They may like not give a crap about their voting and specifically uh go off of the popular vote because they know that would get the best views. So
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. The tough part is because there's no transparency behind it. You don't know how much impact it really has.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about, if any?
I just wanted to briefly bring this up in case people were interested because it's current events and it's major current events, which was yesterday. Technically, I think it's been a day and a half for South Korea, but uh South Korea had enacted martial law. They're I don't know what they have, a leader, president. Let me see if I can find the
All
what's
I
it?
know,
Yes.
I
So,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I didn't hear anything about it because I was on the plane yesterday, coming back from visiting you guys and my son. But I heard today that Biden was very upset because we have a joint treaty with South Korea for protection. And when martial law was instituted, they didn't ask for permission.
Yeah. So from I'll read some from an article in a minute, but from what I understood, he enacted martial law, which prohibits any form of politics and so forth from being conducted. He did it in opposition of his parties, and they you all the all the, shall we call them congressional members, were trying to get into their hall of Congress, like their established wherever they go to vote and handle their business. They were trying to get in there, and they had the military blocking the entrance, visibly and actively forcing them to not get in. They ended up going around the back way, jumping through windows and climbing fences to get in, and they ultimately voted. 100% of the people that voted to lift martial law. And there was a significant amount of those congressional members that didn't show up. But the ones that did, 100% of them voted to lift martial law. Mind you, their vote when they were voting for this yesterday or last night for them, or in the early morning for them, it was like 3 in the morning or something as well. He did it. The leader had done it specifically at a time where everyone was home. It was late at night, and it was like an attempt at. It was a very deliberate choice. And as they're voting, military's busting windows down to try and get them out. So eventually it was agreed to be lifted. Let me see. They're now looking to impeach him, which is actively the best thing to do. South Korea, this is from Associated Press. South Korea's opposition parties moved Wednesday to impeach the president over the shocking and short-lived declaration of martial law that drew heavily armed troops to encircle parliament. That was the word I was looking for. Before lawmakers climbed walls to re-enter the building and unanimously voted to lift his order. Uh, Impeaching Yoon Suk Yeol would require the support of 2/3 of parliament, and at least 6 justices of the 9-member constitutional court would have to endorse it to remove him. Let me see. Yoon's senior policy advisors and defense minister Kim Yong-hyun offered to resign as the nation struggled to make sense of what appeared to be a poorly conceived stunt. The Democratic Party submitted a separate motion to impeach Kim, who allegedly recommended the martial law to Yoon. So the defense minister allegedly recommended this martial law to Yoon
Mm.
before it was enacted. In his speech announcing the abrupt order Tuesday night, Yoon vowed to eliminate quote unquote anti-state forces and continued to criticize the Democratic Party's attempts to impeach key government officials and senior prosecutors. Martial law only lasted 6 hours, ending the National Assembly voted to overrule. Yoon's martial law was law declaration was a clear violation of the Constitution. It didn't abide by any requirements to declare it, a party statement said. The order was originally invalid and a grave violation of the Constitution. It was a grave act of rebellion and provides perfect grounds for his impeachment. Um,
Well, I can only say this. You know how this has impacted me?
Now,
I now have a great desire to go out to get Korean barbecue.
nice, nice, great,
You know,
great. Um, the hold on. Where the hell is this? Yeah, so just I wanted to just bring that up because that's there was somewhere here that I found um historically. Yeah, martial law has a dark history in South Korea because I was going to bring this up. There's an important aspect to him enacting martial law. South Korea became a democracy only in the late 1980s, and military intervention in civilian affairs is still a touchy subject. During the dictatorships that emerged as the country rebuilt from 1950 to 53, Korean war leaders occasionally proclaimed martial law that allowed them to station combat soldiers, tanks, and armored vehicles on streets or in public places to prevent anti-government demonstrations. So just straight up, like it, for example, it would be like the current president enacting martial law so that people can't march for women's rights or healthcare or breast cancer or something.
it's very undemocratic.
Right. And so
I think it's a story that's going to be played out.
let me see. There was the last time dictator Park Chung-hee, who ruled South Korea for nearly 20 years before he was assassinated by his spy chief in 1979, led several thousand troops in Seoul in the early hours of May 16th, 1961, in the country's first coup. He proclaimed martial law several times to stop protests and jail critics. Last 2 months after his death, Major General Chun Du-hwan led tanks and troops into Seoul in December of 1979 in country's second coup. The next year, he orchestrated a brutal military crackdown on a
Peter,
pro-democracy,
Peter,
killing at
can
least
you
200 people.
can you put the podcast on hold for a second?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on, hold on. All right, we're back. Sorry. He just had to take a phone call. All this to say, just to summarize it, because we don't need to go super mega into it. Just wanted to read a little bit of it, and it's important that we learn about our current history and what's going on, because that this is major stuff. I believe South Korea has had martial law enacted like 13 times in the past, uh, like 70 years, which is crazy, due to obviously these dictatorships. But the fact that this is like the 13th one and the last one that occurred was in 1979 is a huge deal. So the fact that it only lasted 6 hours is great. The people were able to mobilize and get shit done.
Yeah,
Amazing. Fantastic. Um, I would argue in part it is due to the fact that they have mandatory military time, all their people. So a lot of the public has skills to combat the current military. So they like there's a viral video of someone like one of the military guys tries to come up and like mess with someone's phone, and he like he makes the guy spin around and pushes him away, and the guy goes, "Oh, that was the military guy going up," because he was messing with people he didn't want to mess with. So
yeah.
all
It's
that,
like the Israeli army. Everybody's either been there or
yeah, I know a lot of countries have mandatory,
yeah.
even if it's like 2 years, it's just like a mandatory thing to participate in. So anyways, that was more or less what I wanted to bring up because it's so new. It happened literally yesterday as of the recording of this. Um, so it was just a huge thing because that could very much turn into something much, if it hadn't gone the way it did, it could have been much, much, much worse.
Yeah,
So,
I just think it's like a pimple on the ass of South Korea at the moment. Let's see on a follow-up when we do our next podcast if anything reoccurs.
yeah, well, if they impeach him, then obviously something will have occurred. But yeah, we can definitely do a follow-up on the next episode, and see where it goes. But for now, yeah, that was more or less what I wanted to get in was just give that because it's such a huge event that occurred all last night. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
Well,
This was a good short and sweet one. We can, well, shortish, but I hope everyone has a good rest of your day, evening, night, whatever the hell you're doing, where you're going.
and I hope that if we don't have a podcast prior to the holiday, that you all have a great holiday, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have a good one, even if it's just hanging out with people.
Yeah, and you know what I'm going to do now, Peter?
What?
I'm going to look for a restaurant that has Korean barbecue.
There you go.
That's right. I'm not going to make your portion of the podcast go to waste.
Yeah,
You understand?
I understand.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you in the next one. Peace
Okay,
out.
man. Peace out.